Good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah Gold, and I'm a Community Liaison and Service Specialist with WiLS, and I, along with my colleagues, Jeff Bruner and Andy Coffin, want to welcome you and thank you for joining us for Taco Tuesday. This series is held on the first Tuesday of every other month, and it's an opportunity to connect our vendor partners with each of you. These webinars are recorded and then they're shared as segments to allow our members to learn about products and services that are of most interest to you in 15-minute sound bites. After the webinar, the links will be shared with everyone who registered and will also be posted on the WiLS website, several places including the Taco Tuesday page and on the individual vendor pages. So without further ado, I would like to welcome each of our four special guests today. First, we will be having Lauren Pinsley with TrueSerials, followed by Susan Gall with FactCite, and then Gwen Mack and Lisa Kenny from Tales2Go, and then finally Elizabeth Mays with PressbooksEDU. Each presenter is going to have a maximum of 15 minutes, and I will be giving a reminder at 14 minutes. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen with Lauren, or I'm sorry, give permission to Lauren, excuse me. Lauren, do you have anything? Oh, there you go.
There I go. I just was trying to get my screen shared with you. Thank you. Welcome everybody. My name is Lauren Pinsley and I am one of the co-founders of TrueSerials.com. We are an electronic resource management platform and we've been around for about 10 years. I'm not going to bore you with all of the bells and whistles and all of the services, but you can find more information on TrueSerials.com, which is our website. It's not the most thrilling website in the world, but it's full of good content. Just to get started right away, what we do is we provide a platform for libraries to provide a Journal A to Z list to their customers. So here, this is the American University of Paris, who's been our customer for more than 10 years. They were the very first. So basically, you can search by a title. So I could put in the title starts with the word sell and search, and then get a list of titles and all of the providers that provide that, the dates of coverage, and if there's an embargo. Libraries can put their own notes. For example, this first one has a note, issues available to 1 year ago, because they didn't like the default. The publisher distributes this by days, so 365 days embargo. They didn't feel like that was really clear, so they clarified it with a note. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on the link for this, so just so you can see how this works. The patron would click on the link and then be taken to typically the journal homepage. So in this case, because this is an open access journal, we're going right to the homepage where we can then obviously continue our research and pick an issue and view it. And I'm not going to bother opening the issue. I'm pretty sure you guys have, well, you know, we can do that if you want to do it. So now here I'm in issue number 5. And we can set this up to open in separate pages, but American University of Paris likes it just to open all in the same tab, which then allows me to use the back button to move back to where I was, and the back button again to get back to the list. That's a choice you can make. Let's see what else we can do here. If I go back one more to the search, I just want to show you that I can search with starts with. I can do an exact search, any word, anywhere search, and all. So if I put in cell biology and I said all, oops, excuse me, that won't work. And I said all, then, you know, obviously it's looking for all words anywhere as a keyword search. So there's going to be the word cell and the word biology in any order. So you can see here that we support subscribed databases like EBSCO and Gall and ProQuest and Elsevier, etc., along with any other open access. And let me see if I see this on this page. Nope. Let me do another search here quick. So if I did a search, for example, for Le Monde, Shouldn't have done that as all. But here you can see we also support local collections. So here's the American University of Paris's, they're basically their subscribed print journals. So if we go here, we're looking into their catalog. We got a hyperlink right into their catalog, and now we're looking in their catalog for that subscribed journal. So we can support print, we can support microform if anybody still has any. We can support electronic resources, and that all can be presented together in one journal list. I'm not going to like really go crazy here. I do want to show you a couple other features on this page. We can do citation lookup, so if I had a known article and I knew it, I could fill in the form and it would trigger our open URL link resolver, but I'm going to hold off just in the interest of time on that one and show that to you a different way in a minute. We can search by subject, so we can do the same searches, starts with exact, any, all. Association, which some libraries have renamed publisher, so I could do a search, for example, for EBSCO and pick EBSCO publishing firm and see things that are classified that way, but that's tricky because it depends how the resource is created. So you have to know what you're doing with that one. ISSN, of course, and if I put it in ISSN, and hang on. It will start to fill it in after the initial, so then I could pick from the list after it's filled it in. So if I didn't want to enter the whole thing, it would fill it in for me, and I would know that that's something that is in my list. However, lots of people don't start from the journal list, and so they will start from someplace like Google Scholar. And so this is going to be going to a different library that has a lot of open access content. This is going to Vassar Brothers Medical Center Library. Set that up as my library link in Google Scholar. I'm going to go to search for an article, teaching more, since today is the best day, the first day of school, by lecturing less. And what that does in Google Scholar is it's going to give me journals that have that article. Here's top result is exactly the article I was looking for, and I can see that there's a link here for Find It at VVMC. That's our open URL link resolver showing up to show you that you have full text for this. And this is in Google Scholar, which is the best place for me to show it to you because I don't subscribe to any databases, so I don't have proxy logins or anything for EBSCO and ProQuest. But any database that supports putting in an open URL link resolver base URL, which is the URL piece with your identifying information for your institution, and presents those then as full text links, whether it's in words or graphics, we can support that. And in fact, most currently and most recently, and for any of you involved in with PubMed and the link out program, link out will be ending in January, and they use something now called the outside tool, and the outside tool is basically just a place for you to enter your open URL link, and we can support that. So here, this is Find It at VVMC, and if I click that, it's going to launch our open URL link resolver. It's going out to the link resolver, and now it's going to a holding screen where it's showing you two things, that you can get it from PubMed, which we'll do in a second. The journal it's from, the citation is actually grabbed and put in here, and that's important because there's an interlibrary loan form, which I will have to proxy to get into, so I can't show you, but if I clicked on that, it would pass this citation to the form so that your patron would just have to fill in their own information. Now, this is actually a site that doesn't use our list very much, so they haven't kept their HTML up to date with us, so some of their links are not as pretty as they could be, but that's up to the library. So I'm going to show you one other thing with this library in a minute if we have time at the end. But I'm going to click on Teaching More by Lecturing Less, and now it's going to take me, when all things work perfectly and I've been a good girl, it takes me directly to the full text in the external source. And that's the way it's supposed to work, right? So that's TrueSerials. I'm going to now take you to another look at another different side of TrueSerials, away from OpenURL and journals to the database side. So we support the creation of a database list, and this is an example of a database list. The library has complete control over the subjects and what resource types they want to show and what content types if they want to use those breakdowns. So if I were to click here on, let's say, articles popular magazine or articles scholarly peer reviewed. Let's do that. Then I'm scoping this list to only those databases that they've identified as having the content type of articles scholarly peer reviewed. And if I scope a little more and I go into, let me show more here, let's go into economics. So now we are scoping to articles that are scholarly peer reviewed economics databases. So now those are the databases. And of course, if any of these were open access, which none of them are, I could click on them, possibly Encyclopedia Britannica. Let's try. So if I click on that one, nope, I have to log in. Should have tried that earlier. Sorry about that. Anyway, so you can support proxy authentication with both journals and databases. You can write your own short summaries, and under details here, there's more information. So you could have all the subjects listed. You could have additional information if you wanted to. Some people hyperlink these subjects. Again, that is an option that we offer. So if you want to, you can hyperlink the subject so people can click around. But some libraries don't wish to do that because they feel like the patron gets lost. That's why. Anyway, so let's see. If we want to see all, I can just go to get rid of my red X's here. And now I'm not scoping anymore. And now I'm seeing everything. And it's an alphabetical list. Okay, so how does this get built? Just to show you, just really quickly, the back end of things. Let's do it this way. So each library gets their own login. They only see their own stuff, but I'm the admin, so I get to see everybody's stuff. If we look over here, I'm going to change the site to somebody I know uses a lot of this, and I have their permission, incidentally, to do this. And then go to the ERM side of things, and then we can look and see. They have, this particular site has more than 400 databases that they show, but let's just look at a free one like AAAS, or one that is a fairly small one. So here you can see this first page is a little fill in the blanks of every possible thing you might want to present to the public. So you can fill in the blanks, but all you have to do to present it to the public, this was a bad one for me to pick. Hang on a second. Okay, here we go. All you have to do is provide a URL and turn it on by saying yes for public list and yes public. All you have to do to put your proxy prefix on it is say yes, and all you have to do to create those descriptions is fill in a brief description or a full description, or you can do both. So if we wanted to see this particular resource, Academic One file, on a database list, I would have to change database list, which I will do. So you can see that. And here's Academic One file, and if we click on where it says connect, we'll connect to it. They've switched it around so that the details are under the title. So if we look at the title here, you can see that full description, coverage, whether it's proxied, how many users they have actually loaded, terms and conditions, and then there's a connect link here. If we jump back to the back end one more second on here, I just want to let you know you can store your cost information. You can store multiple years if you want to. So they have not, but you could. You can store links to statistics and links to an admin module. You can add subjects right here. There's also a web-based interface for adding subjects as well. And you can link this to license and provider information. You can even have files attached to it if you wanted to. And you can output this in a very brief, strange mark that is not really mark and it's not kosher. But if you can do anything with that, like pull it into a database, you can do that if you wish. So that's a quick peek at the back end of the ERM database management side. Other tools that are available include a resource comparison. This allows you to compare a local journal or to a global, or one global to another global. So I'm going to pick two fairly small ones, a local, and compare them to each other. limiting to full text, and we should get a result pretty quickly. It does take it a minute, but those are both fairly small packages. So here we can see there are no duplicates between these two packages. AAS has these two unique journals, and ACM Digital Library has all of these unique journals, and you can see the coverage as well. So if you were trying to decide if you wanted to purchase a new package, you could compare it to things. We also have a new resource if you're looking and you say, okay, I am, looking to compare this new resource to everything that I have. So then you can say compare, and it will tell you that these titles are also in these other packages, and the dates of coverage, or at least the full text date start. And finally, the last tool that's here is journal search. So if I knew I wanted a new journal, the Canadian Journal of Agricultural Science, I can search on that, and I can see that that is in Canadian Science Publishing only, in our global knowledge base, and these are the dates of coverage. So those are tools that we make available to all subscribers. I think that is close to my time, so I'm going to
Yes, thank you.
kind of just open up for questions.
That was perfect, Lauren. Thank you. And we will share your information, contact information, and any other information you'd like to share out following the session today, particularly with our academic co-op members.
Great. And any hospital libraries who are looking for an open URL solution, because they have that. Do I have one more second or not?
We're right at 15 now.
Okay, let's stop. Let's stop now. Okay, that's good.
Okay, thank you, Lauren. And next up is Susan Gall from FactCite. I am going to.
Hello.
Hi, Susan. Let me just switch over here. Well, for some reason, I'm having trouble this time trying to.
Would it help if I left the meeting, you think, or are you stuck on me or something?
I think it's because Jeff started the meeting, so just one.
All right, I just tried to make Susan the presenter. Sorry about that.
He did. No problems. Okay, Susan, you should be
There
the
I
presenter.
am. Okay, and does that work? Do you see my welcome to Will's Taco Tuesday?
Not
No,
yet.
you might have to click share.
Where is that?
It should be a big orange button.
Oh, I see it. It's not orange though.
Oh, it's
There.
not. Okay.
It's blue. And now let's see.
Yay, there you go.
And do you see this? Welcome to Will's Taco Tuesday.
Sure do.
Okay, great. Well, hi everyone. I am Susan Gall. Oh, I went past my picture. There I am, live from Cleveland, Ohio, Eastern Time. And I'm happy to be participating today in Taco Tuesday. I want to talk a little bit about using FactCite to jumpstart mainly student research. Most of our customers in Wisconsin are schools, but we do have public library customers across the country. So I'll try to focus a little bit on both of those environments. FactCite is really great for research in primary grades through high school. Our screen design is simple. It makes it stigma-free for students who are older but reading below grade level. And we like to brag about this. We were named Best Overall Reference K-12 in the LMC ARBA inaugural Best in Reference Awards. So that was pretty exciting for us because the other awardees were much larger companies than ours. Now I want to go to FactCite. Oh, sorry, just one second. Just switch to this screen. We've set up a username Taco and password Tuesday, all lowercase. So after the webinar today, people are welcome to come back and take a look. FactCite's a collection of databases. You may subscribe to individual resources or to bundles. So we offer discounts once you subscribe to 3 or more. If there are 3 or more schools or facilities in a public library system, we offer district discounts. And all of this is available through WiLS, so you can always request pricing information from WiLS. And I am getting a little weird feedback, so if I jump around, if my voice sounds funny, it's because I'm hearing myself a second later on delay. I'm going to talk today about a couple of projects that have been successful in Wisconsin school districts. First was an animal research project in Appleton, and then another was application of the Wisconsin ITL standards in Tomahawk. These 2 projects were highlighted at the WIMTIC conference last spring. Let me go to my next slide here. So the Appleton Animals Research Project used our database, FactCite 123. I'm going to go there. So on the FactCite homepage, FactCite 123 is here. It's a single database resource that can be subscribed to. I'm clicking on it here, and it has these 12 modules. The Appleton, I think it's a 2nd grade project. Students were assigned to research an animal. This database module, the animals module, is organized to teach kids while they're searching. So vertebrates, animals with backbones are listed here, and you see the pictures, helps the student find what they're looking for. And then the invertebrates. And I like to point out in our collaboration with Appleton, Appleton has been a subscriber for quite a few years. They sent us a request to add more insects because their students were doing insect research. So Sarah Wayland in Appleton sent us a list of insects. I think before we got her list, we had honeybees and ants, but we added all of these others. Every animal entry is organized in the same way. I'm just going to take a quick look here. FactCite 123 is designed for primary grade students. It's also had a great extensive use with English language learners as well. When you look at the page, you see that this is an 11-page article. Students can choose to look at it in these small chunks, or if a student's ready to do some scrolling, they can choose the 1-page option. This is always available here up at the top. And then that requires scrolling, but it also makes it a little bit easier to find the subheads. Some of our competitors have tabs across the top that would take students directly to the subheads. But we worked with an International Reading Association consultant who said, on standardized tests, reading in the real world, students need to learn to find the text features, the subheads. So we make it possible for them to do that, but they do have to find the subheads. When you get to the end of every article, if your subscription includes the FactCite database at the next reading level, which in this case would be science, you would see, your student would see, step up to a reading challenge. This icon, clicking here, will take them directly to the entry in the database at the next reading level. But before I do that, I just want to point out every article has a citation. Every article in FactCite also has audio read-along, and every article also has an add to Google Classroom icon. So if your teacher is building an assignment and wants to be able to add to Google Classroom, she can do that. Now let's see what happens when we step up to a reading challenge. Appleton students can step up to the next reading level. This is around fourth, fifth grade reading level. And again, the subheads are here, citation, etc. Tools subscriber, we have Noodle Tools enabled in FactCite. Now I'm going to go back briefly to my PowerPoint, I think. Let's see if I can get back there. Next in Tomahawk, the ITL, Information and Technology Literacy Standards in Wisconsin, have many different categories. And this is not my area of expertise, but Peg Billing, who was presenting with me at WIMTA, talked about these. Content area, empowered learner, excuse me. Students leverage digital tools. It goes on quite a ways more. There's a third grade biography project. And then the content area, knowledge constructor. She had students curating a variety of digital tools on countries research and elements research. So let's take a look at those databases. So countries are presented in two places. FactCite 123, again, primary grades reading level. Let's choose France. You see that there's a small chunk of text on each page, or again, one-page viewing, categories of information. Try to focus on, let's call them the school-age citizens, students. What's life like at school? Literacy rate, etc. Then when you get to the end of the article, step up to a reading challenge. We'll take you to our FactCite countries database. We've done quite a bit of work on this database over this summer, and we're in the process of uploading the new edits. Every article is organized in the same way. There's an overview, there's a life in section, and then each of these sections are expandable to take you or the user to curated web links on this particular topic. So here we're talking about land and environment. You know, if you Googled France, you'd probably get 15 million hits, maybe more. It might be hard for a student to sort through that to find the information. Here we have the Lonely Planet travel profile, USGS minerals information. This is the U.S. Geological Service natural resources, and the UNESCO World Heritage List. Each of these sections expands in that same way. If your students do Model UN, we have information on alliances and conflicts, and links to treaties and other things that the country might be a signatory to. So that's one of the projects that was accomplished in Tomahawk. And then the other one was the periodic table, the elements. Again, that subject is covered both in FactCite 123, just a selected number of elements. Let's take a look at aluminum. Here again, you see it's an 11-page article, or view it on one page. And this will take you to the science database again, entry on the same article. I want to show you how that looks. So I'll go all the way back to this is the FactCite homepage. If you click on the science database, here's the elements section. It's an interactive periodic table. Every element's treated in the same way. Easy to read. Information, we've added this over this summer, information about elements present in the human body, whether there's toxicity with the element, recycling. There's a lot of interest in recycling now. So we've added those sections to every element. Again, when you subscribe to FactCite databases, you would see only the icons for those databases that you subscribe to. You can also link to individual databases if your website wants to put biographies in a certain place. Oh, and our next project is biographies. The Tomahawk students were assigned a biography of anybody they were interested in. So they could choose the Google style search here. Let's use Kwame Alexander, Kwame. Here's his entry. There's somebody named Kwame named in Ralph Bunch's entry as well. Here's the way the entries look. Again, audio read-along is enabled. Add to Google Classroom. We're in the one-page view here. Further study, and again, Noodle tools. And I want to call attention in the footer on every FactCite page, students may use with credit text and images on this site in homework assignments. We know librarians like to teach about copyright. Right-clicking on the image, the student can save it out. It comes out with the photo credit so that the student can add that to their particular project. I think I'm probably just about running out of time, but I have a couple more slides in my PowerPoint.
Susan, you're good. You've got about 2 minutes.
Oh, great. Okay. I included in this deck of slides just a couple of testimonials from Wisconsin librarians. Here's Tony Heinowski from Muskego-Norway. Our students in grades 3 to 8 use FactCite on a daily basis. This is one of our go-to online resources, highly recommended because of quality of information and cost. Peg Billing, who I mentioned to you before from Tomahawk, FactCite is our go-to database. Students use this database year-round. Today is the day we send out usage statistics to all of our subscribers, and I can testify to the fact Peg says our students use this database year-round. Tomahawk students are reading FactCite entries all summer. It's really interesting. I mentioned earlier that we love to take requests. A librarian from Appleton requested that we add Milwaukee brewer Christian Yelich and Milwaukee Bucks. I'm not even going to attempt saying his name. But those are 2 new profiles we've added to our Sports Champions database. They'll be available by next week. And if any of you would like more information, if you'd like to request a trial, here's the way you can contact me, sgall@factsite.com. And we always monitor OWLs, see our logo, at factsite.com. That's a general information email you can use. And I want to thank everybody for joining us today. And Sarah's going to be sending out information about her trial. The username will be Taco. The password will be Tuesday, all lowercase. But I encourage any of you who might like to have a trial to request a trial with your own username and password, because in that way we can provide you with usage statistics. Thank you for letting me participate today. I really enjoyed being here, and I look forward to working with some new Wisconsin librarians this year.
Thank you so much, Susan. It was great to see how people within Wisconsin are using FactCite, so appreciate that. Okay, I am happy to introduce Gwen Mack from Tales2Go. I am just going to ask Jeff to, oh, look at this, he's on it. Gwen, Jeff is making you the presenter. I believe it's a blue button.
Yep, fantastic.
And welcome.
Thank you. All right.
Happy to have you here.
I'm just going to say hi to Gwen and then mute myself. Bye-bye.
Hi, Susan. Fantastic. So can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Well, happy Taco Tuesday, everybody. My name is Gwen, and I'm here to share with you about Tales2Go. I'm going to tell you a little bit about who we are, what we're trying to do, and how we're doing it. So first, who we are. We provide unlimited and simultaneously streaming audiobook subscriptions for K-12 schools. So think of us like Netflix or Hulu, but for audiobooks. And next, what are we doing and why are we doing this? So at Tales2Go, we believe that good listeners become great readers. And we believe that because research has been showing us for years now that American students are just not reading proficiently. For example, you may have heard of reports like NAEP's Reading Report Card that tell us that more than half of American fourth graders are reading at a level below what's considered proficient. Fortunately, researchers also know what's required for students to become proficient readers. And we as teachers know some of this too. So you might recognize this simplified view of reading, where you have decoding skills. So, that's your phonics, the ability to sound out letters and words. And then you also have word knowledge. And this is vocabulary and fluency. And it's equally important to phonics. And this is actually where listening comprehension comes in, and where many students' knowledge and preparation falls short. Because even if they can sound the words out because they've had their good phonics, if they've never heard those words in context before, they still won't know what it means. Research also reminds us that linguistically poor students know about 4 times fewer words than their linguistically rich peers. So that means those students are 4 times more likely to encounter words they've never heard before, which means they're missing a lot of the story. So all of this tells us that students need exposure to many more words than they're getting. And as educators and parents, what can we do to help? We can read to students, read to our kids, just 20 minutes a day. Seems easy, right? But unfortunately, that's not what's happening. Only half of American parents are actually reading to their kids every day, and that number declines significantly as students get older. So again, how can we help? With Tales2Go, we make it easy and convenient to surround all of your students, and actually their families too, with sophisticated spoken language. We do this by providing instant, unlimited, and simultaneously streaming audiobooks so that your students can hear the vocabulary, pronunciation, intonation, and fluency they need to round out that word knowledge. Tales2Go is accessible from any laptop or desktop computer from any browser, as well as on most of your Apple and Android devices using an app from either the Google Play or the Apple App Store. And we do personal IDs and passwords, so students can save bookmarks and favorites, and they can access the entire library from anywhere. So just like with a Netflix subscription, you can choose a movie title or choose a TV show. If you decide after 10 seconds that you don't like it, you can switch anytime. We work the same way. Alrighty, so now if I can get this to switch screens for me, I'm going to show you our desktop player. Hopefully you guys can see that. So this is our desktop player. It's a little bit different from what shows up on a mobile device. Mainly the difference are these filters here on the left. They work just like any online shopping site, Amazon, stuff like that. It helps to filter out titles from the catalog. We do have, I think we're approaching 9,600 titles now, so doing a little bit of filtering always helps, just to narrow down. My favorite way to browse the catalog is through the subject areas category. You can see we have a whole bunch of subject areas. Meditation sounds is a great one for transition time, if you have a study hall, if you just need your students to relax a little bit, if you just need to relax a little bit at the end of the day. Let's choose history here. We'll just pick the US. And you'll see we have it broken down into all the different times. We'll pick Revolutionary War. And then if we click through to one of these titles, we'll just choose this one. So I don't know if you could hear that audio, but this is real produced audio that we get directly from the publishers. It's not text to speech to keep students more engaged. And you'll see here that this says segment 1 of 4. So you can save bookmarks in each of these segments. So if I click save a bookmark here, a little bookmark icon shows up here. And then if I want to come back to that bookmark, I click up here on the nav bar, and there's my bookmark. You can have unlimited bookmarks and unlimited favorites. The only difference between bookmarks and favorites is that bookmarks saves a particular spot in the story, and favorites just saves the story in case you want to go back, kind of like putting it on your own bookshelf. One of the beauties of Tales2Go is that because it's simultaneously streaming, you could have one student listening to a story, or an entire classroom, or an entire school. We actually have one school out on the West Coast who the principal does a book club. So any student who wants to be in the book club can listen to the story on Tales2Go. They can all be at different points in the story. And then when they come back together for all school assemblies, they can talk about it. And then when the book club meets, he can meet with different age groups at different times, but they can all engage in the same story, which is kind of a neat idea, I think. We also have this multivariate search. I always recommend using this advanced options, just again, because the library is getting pretty big. You can type in your keywords here. I was searching for dragons earlier. And you'll see if we do this search, we'll get like 5-6 pages of results. And that's because it's searching the entire catalog. So it's searching descriptions, titles, everything. It's taking a minute for some reason. There we go. So you can see we've got a whole slew of titles about dragons. Again, if students are searching at school, they can click through to a title, save it as a favorite. I get a little message telling me that it's been saved because there's no icon for it. And then I can go back up to favorites, and there it is, Rise of the Dragons. So that is how our player works. The bookmarks and favorites are saved to each individual user's cloud if you're using the personal IDs, which means that they'll be accessible from any device that's logged into that account. So if you have public devices that kids are sharing at school, you can use a school account, and kids would put in their individual IDs to save their to save their bookmarks or favorites. And then when they go home and they're logged in on their personal device with their personal ID, they can pull their own favorites and their own bookmarks and not get confused with anybody else's. And then next, I wanted to show you, okay, there it goes. This is just our main website, Tales2Go.com. If you come here, first of all, I wanted to show you the resources tab. You can download our entire catalog as an Excel spreadsheet, so you can do whatever Excel magic you might want to do here. If you're searching for a specific author or Shakespeare or something like that, you can filter those there. We've also got video tutorials, lesson plans, more research if you're writing a grant and wanting to get help with funding. And then we also have our blog, which I write. I post just about once a week, and I try to keep people updated on the new titles that we're getting, things that are current. For example, someone was doing a unit on D-Day back in the spring, so I pulled some titles there and just turned it into a blog post. And it looks like maybe I'm coming up on my time, so I wanted to show you about our free trial, which is actually free. You can download the app to your mobile device, or you can try it out the desktop player version, which is what I just showed you now. It's 30 days for free, and you have access to the entire catalog just as if you were a paid subscriber. So you can test out everything. You can listen to as many stories as you want, and give us a try. And that is pretty much all I have.
We have a minute.
Am I allowed to take questions?
Questions? Yep. Yes. Absolutely. You have a couple minutes. Does anybody have any questions for Gwen?
No?
I think people might, once they, it's the first day of school for most of the districts in Wisconsin today. So I think a lot of the teacher librarians are probably in class. So
sure. Well, then I will just take a minute and show you one more spot in our player, this new and different section. We do get new titles.
More questions as people again.
Sure. And people can feel free to email us at any time. Just hit that contact Tales2Go button. I just did want to show you this one last section in the stories on our player. We do get titles from publishers just about every week, and we're constantly adding to our catalog, which is no extra cost. We're just expanding the catalog. So this is a cool place to come and just look at new to Tales2Go. You'll see, I think, the most recent 60 titles. So for those of you who have some voracious listeners who really get into audiobooks, they can find all of the new and interesting stories here under new to Tales2Go.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Gwen.
Awesome, thank you. Have a happy Tuesday and happy new school year to everybody.
Thank you. So next up we have Elizabeth Mays from PressbooksEDU, and I'm just going to ask Jeff if he could assist. Oh, he's on it again. And Elizabeth, Jeff is making you presenter. Oh, and there you are. And welcome to Taco Tuesday.
Hello, can you hear me?
We sure can.
Can you hear me? Fantastic. And can you see my screen now?
Yes, looks great.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, everyone, for having me to Taco Tuesday today. I am Liz Mays with Pressbooks, and my colleague Steele Wagstaff is also on the call, and he'll be in the chat if you have any questions while I'm presenting. If you haven't heard of Pressbooks, it's a platform that can be used to create book-like content in a variety of export formats, all from a single source. And PressbooksEDU, which is what I'll be demonstrating today, includes a number of education-specific features and plugins, as well as training and ongoing support. And PressbooksEDU is a tool that's used fairly widely in OER programs for adopting, creating, and remixing open content, often as part of an affordable textbook program or an open content program. But it can also be used for a variety of publications. You could make syllabi, dissertations, other publications or course materials using Pressbooks as well. So for context, before I get into a demonstration inside Pressbooks, when you have a Pressbooks network as an institution, you can brand it to your institution. So for example, I'm showing you Berkeley's PressbooksEDU network here, and you can see they have been able to change the logo, the background image, use their colors, change the title of their platform, add some links to places elsewhere on their university website, and use the blocks in various ways. I will also show you a similar network. This is University of Saskatchewan's network, and they too have customized this to their color, their brand, their title, and they've used the blocks a little bit differently. They are using the catalog carousel on the home page. as well as the catalog feature. And these are the books that they have decided to showcase for their network so far. And in Pressbooks, a book can be private, it can be public, or it can be public and in this catalog. We've seen people use this in a lot of ways. You can showcase the books that are being adopted or that have been cloned and are being adopted. You can showcase the books that you've built as part of your OER program. There are many ways you can use this feature. And the last thing I want to show you before I show you the inside of Pressbooks is what we call the webbook. And what you're looking at right now is the webbook built on a Pressbooks network. And what's particularly nice about this is not only can you navigate the book in a variety of ways. You can go forward, back, you can navigate the table of contents from various different places. You can utilize this on your cell phone, and it is mobile responsive, so students can read the textbooks on their cell phone, which is really nice. But they can also read them if you utilize the book exports on the homepage feature that's available to you. You can also make the book available to your students in other formats, which may be useful if they're traveling, going to be working offline in a rural area, or just need a different modality. Another interesting piece of PressbooksEDU is that it really allows you to extend the definition of what a book is. And a lot of different interactive elements allow you to break up the text. So you're not just creating a traditional textbook if you use Pressbooks to do OER. You can create something that's highly interactive. So here we have an example. This is a Portuguese textbook built at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. And what they've done here is they have uploaded some audio in Pressbooks, and this is a language file. And then they've also put a transcript of the text that the student would listen to in that file. And then they've utilized the H5P plugin inside of Pressbooks to test the student's knowledge on what they just listened to and read. So here they could take a quiz based on, answer some questions based on that audio clip and the text that followed. Or they could, for instance, mark the conjugated forms of a verb that was featured and test their knowledge, again, of what they had just learned. I could show the solution, I could begin to retry that. And again, this sort of expands that definition of what a textbook can be. Another thing that you can do, we have a plugin called Hypothesis that's available if you would like to turn that on your book. If so, people will be able to annotate the book, to comment on the book, to react to the book and reflect on it. And you can use this to create discussion among your students, with your students, possibly with the authors. You can do this in a public layer, which is what I'm showing you here. But you can also create groups in Hypothesis for instance, a certain semester students or a certain class. And then those can be private just to your class in a layer that is not visible on the public book. Another fun thing that we enable is this glossary feature. So if you have some terms you'd like to identify as glossary terms, you can create those in Pressbooks, and they become a little bit of an interactive where if you click on them, you get the definition. And of course, you could include, anything in this definition, including, images that might extend the definition as well. You can also incorporate interactive things such as PhET simulations or embed videos. And of course, this could be in between different text content if you'd like. Another tool that can be embedded is the Nightlab Timeline.js. You can use this to incorporate a timeline into a chapter you're working on. And again, it just makes your book a little bit more interactive. Another nice feature is the text box feature, and these can be created with a simple drop down. You just say text box example style, and then you'll be creating these editable text boxes. And these are nice because they allow you to break up the text again. So you could use these for learning objectives at the top of the chapter, key takeaways at the bottom, examples in the middle, some exercises maybe within the chapter, and just a variety of ways, any way you'd like to use those. You can also create relatively sophisticated tables in PressbooksEDU using a plugin called TablePress. You can make these tables sortable and filterable, and that's a nice feature as well. You can also incorporate math equations. In PressbooksEDU, this can be done through a tool called MathJax, which is fantastic because it allows you to do all sorts of different things to the equations that you've created. And then Pressbooks can also be used not only for creation, but also for remixing. And so at this point, I'm going to take you inside of a PressbooksEDU network. And this is just a demo network. And if I were, for instance, wanting to incentivize OER at my institution, I might not want to ask faculty to create a book from scratch. That might be too big of an ask. But what I could do is ask them to identify some materials that are open content out there in the ecosystem that they may be able to adapt, and then help them clone those into PressbooksEDU to make that extremely easy. So if I wanted to, for instance, clone a book, the book would just need to be public, built on Pressbooks, and openly licensed. And here's an example of a book that meets that criteria. So here, all I would need to do is take the URL of the book, insert it where it says source book URL, and actually create a new URL and a new title for that book. And a few minutes later, I'm going to have an editable version of that book without needing to ask anyone for files, without needing to extract raw text out of some sort of different software. I will have a version where I can delete chapters, I can add chapters, I could edit chapters, and all of the things in the original book will come over. So things such as if there were H5P exercises, those will come with the book. If there were media attributions, those will also come with the book. Images will come with the book. And it just makes it, all the attributions for the authors and the contributors will come with the book. And it just makes it very, very simple to then remix this book and make the changes that the faculty member needs. I'm going to let it finish just a moment. There we go. And now when I go to that book, you'll see a dashboard that looks very much like WordPress, and I'm able to make the changes that I would like to this book. Of course, you can also create a book from scratch in Pressbooks. So to do that, I would just say create a new book, and let's say and I'm going to work on this privately. And in this case, I will get essentially a blank book with a little bit of a dummy copy that Pressbooks inserts so I know how to use the interface. And the first thing I'd probably do is go to Book Info, where I can essentially change things like the title, the subtitle. I could credit additional collaborators of a variety of different types, even if they're not in my Pressbooks instance. So a person does not have to be in Pressbooks for you to attribute their work to them. I might indicate things such as the publisher, ISBNs or DOIs if I have them, add a cover image for the webbook or the ebook, categorize the book, but most important, I would indicate the copyright holder and the license. And this is particularly important because this is where Pressbooks learns whether a book can be cloned or not. Of course, we support the full range of licenses from all rights reserved all the way to public domain, but depending which license you choose, if you choose an open license that does allow derivatives, Pressbooks will know then that if someone else at a different institution with the Pressbooks network is looking to clone your book, that they can do so. So another thing I might do as I'm putting my book together is I would essentially maybe add some chapters. Pressbooks breaks the book into front matter, back matter, parts and chapters, and it's very easy to create chapters. You can also create parts which the chapters are part of. You can move around the chapters as well using the move up, move down, or dragging and dropping them. So this is really helpful when you're structuring the book. And then when you're sort of ready to change the look of the book, you would just change the theme, just like you would do in a WordPress blog. So I'm partial to Clark. All I have to do is click Activate. And then there may be things that you want to customize about that theme to make it a little bit more your own. And we have most of those options in a place called Theme Options, which allows you to change options for example, all formats of the book under Global Options, just the web book, PDF formats. You might want to change the trim size or the running heads or feet. You can do that here. Ebook options. And then when you feel pretty ready to preview the book, or to when you feel done with the book, you might want to take what we call the exports. So you would just select the exports that you would want, and then you're going to end up with some downloads, and you can take those and do anything you want with them. Particularly notable on the PressbooksEDU networks, you may have one or both of these export formats available to you. And these allow you to bring the book into your LMS and use it as the spine of the course. These is a little more seamless. The thin common cartridge export with web links allows you to essentially break the book into chapters, move those around, make them public or private. The LTI links version of that export will also make it a little more seamless, remove the Pressbooks navigation, and it creates a live sync. So if you make changes on the Pressbook side, those will instantly show up in the LMS. But generally, I personally like to use this to create sort of the spine of a course and call extra attention to perhaps a chapter in a way that handing students the PDF or a link to the webbook, it tells them to read the whole book, but I want to make sure they pay attention to this one section. I might put it into my LMS as well in the module. An important aspect of the PressbooksEDU networks are a new feature we released just last week, which is network analytics. And this enables you to see some interesting data points about the usage on your network. Are my users growing? Are my books growing? Which books are taking up the most space on my network? Who's really doing a lot of work on my network lately? Maybe I want to reach out to those faculty and encourage them or offer them some support. I can also sort the books in a way that might give me information. A book that's public might be a book that is considered finished. I could sort by the license. I could sort to see if people are creating books in different languages, or find out what subjects people are working on books. Again, I can see the storage as well as the word count, which might be an indication of whether a book is nearing completion. See different types of exports and themes, and then I can see a little bit about my users as well. So who logged in last, who is an administrator, is there someone who's in 30 different books? Maybe I should reach out to that person. They're obviously a first adopter. And then of course the EDU networks also come with support and training as well. A few last things. Am I almost out of time, or do I have just a few minutes?
Yeah, you have 1 minute. So you're
okay, perfect. Okay, so I guess the last thing I'll show you then is the glossary feature. It's very simple to create a glossary to auto-populate glossary terms. So for instance, if I wanted to create a glossary term, I would just go to glossary terms and add a new term. And this checkbox will tell Pressbooks whether to show it in the auto-populated glossary or not. And to create that auto-populated glossary, I simply go to back matter. I can call this content item anything I'd like, and then I just leave this blank and tell Pressbooks that it is a glossary, and then select create. And that will result in Pressbooks pulling in all of the glossary terms with check marks to create an auto-populated glossary. So of course that was a very fast flyover. So I guess I will say, if you would like to see anything about Pressbooks more in depth, I'm glad to talk with you in person at leisure. Please feel free to reach out to me at sales@pressbooks.com. And I'm not sure if there are any questions or if we have time for one question, but if so, I will defer to Sarah.
Does anybody have a question? Just looking at the chat. I don't see anybody right now, Elizabeth, but I'm sure that, I'm sorry, Liz. I keep calling you Elizabeth. Very formal. But questions, I'm guessing, will come up once the segment is shared and people have a time outside of this to sort of dive into it and review it.
Fantastic. Well, thank you all for your time today. And again, if you do want to reach out to me, I'm at sales@pressbooks.com.
Thank you so much. This is a fantastic product.
Thank you.
Okay, Jeff, if you could just switch back to okay, thank you. Oh no, I think I'm just seeing my screen. I just wanted to thank everybody, each of you for attending. And as we mentioned several times, please feel free to reach out to our presenters directly, or you can reach out to Jeff, myself, or Andy at coop@wils.org for questions and feedback. And then we hope that you can join us next month for a Taco Tuesday Pop Edition. That will be held October 1st at 11:30 a.m. and we will be featuring a LibGuides user group. Thank you so much, everybody, for attending, and look for the links to the recordings and other information in the next day.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a great day.